How about a city where the entire population is forced to commute across one bridge? How is it done, and does it even work? This video is made possible by you watching, shopping on Amazon through one of our affiliate links, or by donating on Patreon. Links are in the description down below, so feel free to check them out. Okay, so the plan to make everyone walk through one point on the map is rather simple. We split the city up into 3 sections, one residential area, one commercial and one office. By doing this, we know that people have to somehow get from their home to work and from work or home to the stores. By splitting the city up in such a way, we can more easily manage their routes throughout the city. Now, before doing this on a large scale, I always try the idea out on a much smaller scale, in order to save time if it doesn't turn out like planned. Also, sometimes you gather pretty valuable information by doing these small scale experiments. In this case, for example, I learned that if I'm going to go with the design I had in mind, I would not be able to have 4 plots. This made me remove the industrial area, because if you import enough goods, you can manage pretty well without it. Anywho, the 4 plots were put down in the small scale tests. Parks, services and all other necessary stuff was built and zoning was put down. After some time I realized that this is probably going to work rather well. People are using the walkways and the city is fully functional. The initial plan was to use 4 plots in a square layout. This turned out to be a rather bad idea, since people didn't want to walk through an entire plot to reach their destination. So that idea was tuned down to 3 plots without industries. Offices on the right, residential zoning in the middle and commercial on the most left. And so I began by putting down the grid, the core or frame of the city, depending on what you want to call it. I figured each plot had to have rather high capacity of both incineration plants and crematoriums. Also, I find it kinda nice to have a bit more than what is really necessary. A simple area for the sewage plants was made, and after that some basic piping was put down. Highways were needed in order to make the services reach. They are put down using gravel roads that are then upgraded to single lane highways, or also called highway ramps. This way we can get nice and clean looking 90-degree turns for the ramps connecting to the city while still maintaining our great reach. The city is then cleaned up from overlapping roads. Services are being put down at each entrance from the highway. It's a bit overkill, but it yields for pretty good land value and doesn't really matter for the purpose of the city. Zoning is then put down and people can finally start to move in. Some additional power lines are added to reach the first buildings properly. Alright, so before we let the city grow to its final size, we have to fix one problem. And that is the fact that people are not willing to walk for too long. The reason for why this is a problem is because we are going to try and make everyone walk through one place or one spot on the map. This means that people living far away has to walk for a very long time and will end up not walking at all. I have one simple solution to this, and that is by mixing in some public transportation into the plots themselves, without reaching throughout the entire city and just within the plots. So basically this will not break our rules and will only improve our results. So for the commercial plot I figured that we would need rather high capacity, therefore a metro system was added, reaching from the center pavement road and out to the edge of the plot. Basically the entire idea here is to make people living on the edges still be able to walk with the rest of the city on our tiny little bridge. For the rest of the city I went with 2 other methods of transportation. The residential zone is using monorails and the office plot was at first using buses, but since it gave us such low usage I wanted to try using trams instead, but it gave pretty much the same results anyways. The newly installed transportation system greatly increased the flow of people on our pavement path, so it was a great success after all. So pretty much all we can do now is just sit back, relax and let the city grow. All in all, I would say that this city is rather interesting with a lot of stuff going on, using many different features to reach its full potential. The city itself was a success. A lot of people are walking on the pavement road and a decent amount of people are using the public transportation system, which means that the system is working and people are able to reach their destinations. Overall, the city is rather happy, well serviced, but of course, this doesn't come as a surprise since we're using the monuments to improve a lot of stuff, such as land value, happiness, capacities, education, and so on. And now for some results. In order to calculate the amount of people walking on the bridge, we have to figure out the time it takes to walk across it, the amount of people on the bridge, and then we can see that on my computer there's around 100 people per 1/6 chunk of bridge, and in total there is around 600 people on the bridge at the time. Dividing it by the amount of time that it takes to walk across the bridge, we can find out that approximately 46 people leave and enter the bridge / walkway each second. The game is running on a one-time speed on an Intel Core i7-2600. I would say that the results are very promising, and maybe one day we will bring it up to even bigger scales. If you have any questions or just want to say hi, then feel free to type that in the comments down below. As always, I hope you all are having a fantastic day, and I will see you next time.